When was the last time that you created for yourself? The last time that you were really excited and felt really proud of something that you'd actually produced? The last time that you'd actually thought, wow, holy crap, I created that. Well, that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video, because I myself, I am taking a change and a shift from portrait photography, which is what I'm known for, into film photography, mainly storytelling and videography. And I can tell you, it's a little daunting. It's a lot scary. But the why to do it is, I think, is the most important reason to do it. If you're not completely and utterly in love with what it is that you do and how you do it, then there's no shame in wanting to make a shift. There's no shame in wanting to change. Don't get me wrong, I still love portrait photography, but I now am at a place where I want to create for myself instead of creating for others. See, I came from a film era. I'm not going back to film. I'm coming back to film, because that's where I know that's what's comfortable to me. I was carrying a camera around, loading the film and developing it long before it became a trend. I was sharing the stories of the photos that I had actually picked up from a local chemist, a week later, about how I created them and how funny they were. Yes, some were out of focus and some looked a bit silly, but it was what it was. So I'm not going back to anything. I'm picking up where I came from, and I want to create something that is just for me. And like I said before, creating for yourself, it is essential as a creative, because when you put the focus on others, it changes. It changes what you create. It changes what you produce. It changes your thinking. It changes your design. It changes everything. But when you create for yourself from the very core center of who you are and why you want to do it and how you want to do it, there's excitement in there. There's curiosity in there. There's expansion and growth in there. And there's the incredible ability to create with love and magic and guiltless emotion, because it's okay to be selfish. It is okay. As a creative, when you look at the creatives that, the famous painters and the famous artists like, Monet and, people like that, do you think that they went out to create for others? Do you think that they went out and, painted these incredible portraits of paintings for others? Yeah, some did it as, to get income in so that they can support themselves as an artist. But I'm pretty sure if you look back into these artists, you'll see that a lot of them actually did it for themselves. They did it because for the love of it and the joy of actually feeling the creation come to life. And that's exactly why I'm shifting from being known as a portrait photographer to picking up a film camera again and doing film and storytelling with videography. Because that's what I love. That's where my heart is. I love storytelling. I love being able to tell stories, and I love putting and honoring stories in, film photographs and videography and with emotion. And I want to actually do something with meaning. And I'm pretty sure that you do too. As a creative, we all want to create something that has meaning, something that has depth, something that brings us alive. And there's no shame in that. No shame whatsoever, because you're entitled to that. You are. Now, going down this pathway, I know that there's going to be some pitfalls, and you'll probably feel them too if you are, shifting and changing in your own creative journey. Definitely loss of clients and loss of income is the major one. And don't get me wrong, I've had some of the most amazing, incredible, lovely, very giving clients who felt and honored me with their most emotional, heartbreaking stories, and I was able to capture that for them into photographs that they're going to have for a lifetime. And although, they may no longer be clients, some of them will still remain as friends, and that's okay. But I also know that I will be picking up new clients with this work that I'll be doing, and it's the same, because what I've found that happened, like even when I started out in the portrait photography world, I was so passionate and so in love with it. It literally is like a light bulb that draws a moth. When you do that with so much joy and so much love and so much desire and willing, people cannot help but be attracted to that. They just can't. And I know is exactly what's going to happen with this shift and this change, because that very same energy that I put into portrait photography is the very same energy that I'm going to be putting into this film and storytelling with videography. And that's really exciting, as much as it is daunting. And, with the income, yes, the income's going to drop, but that's okay, because I've made a plan. I'm working so that I can go and pay the bills, but I can still do my creative practice. And that's important, because don't feel embarrassed about this thinking that you need to be a broke artist to be a good artist. I call bullshit on that, and I will call bullshit on that every single time. You don't need to be a broke artist. You can't be, but you can ensure that you and your family are looked after and cared for, financially, emotionally. And you could do that. Like I was cleaning toilets. I was a cleaner. I was going out, I was cleaning toilets, and I was scrubbing down bench tops and, mopping. And that's not a glamorous thing, but I did it because it was necessary. When something is necessary in order to something over here that can be sustained without that pressure or that feel of, if I don't get this person, or if I don't get this client, then I won't get this money. Remove that pressure, remove it. Go and get a job, get 2 jobs, get 3 jobs, do what you need to do in order to let you have the freedom to go to create. And it's the relearning part is also the daunting part. Like I said, portrait photography, I know it inside and out, upside down, turn it around. Not a problem. Can do that with my literal eyes closed. But this next step of with the film photography and the storytelling, particularly with videography, that's going to need to take some relearning. And because it's been a while since I've actually done it in this kind of concept model. And storytelling, it isn't just the beginning, a middle and an end. No. Storytelling, good storytelling, are the ones that make you feel something, the ones that make you cry or smile, the ones that actually really get deep into your soul. That is good storytelling. And that is what I want to do, because that is where I can honor the person and their story, and that is going to take relearning. But to say that, I've gone out and I've searched for and found a mentor. And you could do the very same thing. You don't need to know everything in order to do it, but don't feel like you need to do it alone. Find yourself a mentor, someone you can work with, someone you can bounce ideas and thoughts and dump some things off, but also someone that's going to keep you honest. You need someone that's going to keep you honest, because you don't want someone who's going to sit there and bullshit to you and tell you that you're producing fabulous work when it's utter crap. You need someone who's going to level it off and cut you off at your knees or bring you down a bit in order for you to grow and expand more. So, yeah. So the plan you're going to need a plan. You can't not do this type of thing, or the rebranding or the rebuilding of a business, without having some sort of plan in place. So make sure that you do have, a plan. My own plan, I'll share it with you. Like I said, my first thing was to get a mentor. And I've done that. And pretty darn happy with that mentor. Already started working with them. The second thing is to do my rebranding. I'm working on that, and I'm working on that daily by the way that I actually talk and engage with people, and not saying that I'm a portrait photographer, that I am a film photographer, I'm a videographer. just simple things like that, but also the rebranding of, you know, things like websites and social media and you know, the jobs that you actually do, turning down jobs that as they come up because they come through your website. It's hard. It's really, really hard because you really, really want to work with people and you really, really maybe desperately need the money. But you got to stick to your guns. You got to. Because through this whole process, the one thing that's going to happen, and I know this because it is constantly happening with me, is you're going to be challenged. You're going to be challenged at every turn. You're going to be challenged at every step forward. You're going to be challenged the entire way. That is expected. That is what is required, and in order to make the change and grow for yourself and become everything that you can be, and be very, very excited about what it is that you're going to create. I know if you can't feel it, my energy right now is off the bloody charts because I am so bloody excited about where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be doing, and all of the stuff ups that I'm going to be making, because there's going to be a fair few mistakes. I have no doubt about that. Yeah, but I'm also bloody fearful. I'm fearful of looking foolish. I'm fearful of falling on my face. I'm fearful of getting it wrong. And I'm fearful of not honoring the person's story as I should have. And that's scary. But until those challenges do come up, I will cross that bridge when it comes. And the same should be for you. So, if you're in the place of where you're doing a shift or you're doing a pivot in your business, or you know, you're going out and trying something brand new and creating for yourself, then please come along and join me with this incredible journey that I'm going to be on, because I'll be giving you regular updates right here on this channel. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.